What's cracking, guys? Welcome to American Truck Simulator. Now, this isn't really going to be a review. It's sort of just my thoughts and ramblings on the game. So this released on the 2nd. I think it was the 2nd. Yeah, I think it was supposed to be out on the 3rd, and then they released it a day early, I believe. So I've had a bit of a play. You know, yeah, as you can see, the money is quite big. What I did was I modified my profile to have a bit of a test, a bit of a play, just to see what you get in the later levels. Frankly, a bit disappointed about that, but we'll come back to that. So, it's finally here after a long-awaited time. And to be straightforward and honest with you, I'm in two minds about it. I'm happy and I'm disappointed. I know that sounds a bit odd. Happy in the sense that it's finally here. You know, we finally get to drive around America, because I'm pretty sure, like most of you, when you know your ETS2 was out, I'm sure a lot of people thought, well, what about America next? Let's go to America. Let's go to Russia. You know, it's a massive country, long winding. You know, I had this vision of long winding roads, and you know, and all this jazz. And I thought, great, America, fantastic. So, you know, you wait and you wait and you wait and you wait and you wait, and STS start bringing out screenshots, and everything looks great, and you get more excited, and then the game drops, or they release more info about what's coming with the game, and yeah, not really what I was expecting. And I'm sure it's not what a lot of you were expecting either. Like, California and Nevada, and then Arizona at some point, with only 2 trucks, the Kenworth and the Peterbilt. Ooh, shit. Sorry, my mouth is really wet today. Yeah, so I'm driving from LA, California to Elko, I think. No, I'm somewhere in Nevada. Hold on. Let me get my dingo. Oh, look, it was Elko. I was right. See, I'm just driving cars from LA to Elko at the moment. So yeah, so the thing I struggle at the moment with, or the thing I'm struggling at the moment with, is to put it into the brackets of a game, or at least a fully fleshed out game. Anyway, it sort of fits well into other brackets, like a mod, but a nice mod, a very pretty mod, you know, with an executable. It's very fancy, it's very good. You know, it's the sort of things. What the hell is going off over there? Sort yourself out, guys. Come on. That's it. You drive forward. No, you drive forward. Yeah. Good. Fucking cretins. Yeah, like a very, very pretty mod. You know, it's the sort of thing that you'd expect from the Pro Mods guys. you know, because they do absolute fantastic work. And this is really good, and you know, it's a very pretty game. It's a very nice game. It's visually, it's very nice. The other thing that I would put it into is an expansion pack. No, I wondered what the hell that was then. It's fucking tumbleweeds. That scared me. An expansion pack, you know, an expansion on Euro Truck Simulator. Because, yeah, it doesn't, it as a standalone game, it doesn't really feel like it. Like content-wise, you know, again, because we only have Nevada and California. Oh, whoop-de-doo. You know, very nice. But the other one that I would kind of put this into is early access. I know, weird, right? Simply because of the way they're doing this. Well, not of the way they're doing this, but of the way they've done it, because... Ooh, we've got a right-hand turn. Because I struggle to wrap my head around why the game has been released so early with such little content. Like, you know, we have two states, which again is California and Nevada. Okay, fine. And then Arizona is coming at a later date for free. Very nice. But what was the problem in waiting for a while to get Arizona done? So the game launched with Arizona as well as California as well as Nevada, or with any other state. Why? What was wrong with that? Why couldn't they do that? And I realise, I realise that they're having trouble at the moment with licensing for the trucks. And I'm not 100% sure if that's other truck makers or other truck designs, or if they're trying to get Peterbilt and Kenworth to finalise and sign off on their other designs, so, you know, they can be used within the game. But if that is true, then... Hold on. Yeah, this isn't... Oh, yeah. This isn't going to be anything professional and, you know, highly edited and anything like that. I'm not a reviewer. So this is just going to be a sort of vlog. Me and you, trucking down the road with a jet flying overhead. I wonder where that's been taken from. Another map? Ooh. So I'll have my cup of tea, and you will hear me talk on my e-cig a few times as well. So I do apologise. But as I was saying, so if they're having licensing troubles, then what was wrong with doing what they did with ETS2? Now, if you remember in ETS2, obviously, a lot of you probably will, we've got a plane out of thing. Are we in Area 51? Probably. What they did with Area 51, for fuck's sake, I've got that in my head now. What they did with ETS2, when they didn't have the licenses for the trucks, they put them under a false name. Now, why can't they do that with these, exactly? Because they did it with ETS2. You know, when they had, you know, like Mercedes and Volvo and stuff, they all came under a different name. You know, granted, I mean, Mercedes was the last one to say, yep, fine, you can use our name. That was great. But for the longest of times, a lot of the trucks, because they didn't have the licensing, came in with false names. So I can't understand why they can't, for the trucks that they're trying to get the licenses for, I can't understand why they can't do that again. You know, not put it under the Kenworth name or the Peterbilt name, but under another name. It's simple to do, it gets around the licensing. You know, many games have done it before. You know, GTA are probably the most famous for it. You know, when you drive a car, you know what's a Lamborghini, you know what's a BMW, you know what's this, you know what's that. Because they're under false names and they can get away with it. It might look like said car, but because it's not called said car, they can get around the licensing. So, again, that boggles my mind. The one thing as well, because I think this was from them that they plan to do this over a 2 to 3 year period. So they plan to release states over a 2 to 3 year period. But okay. But that then worries me into it becoming DLC simulator, much like another game out there, Train Sim. You know, you have Train Sim, you have your base game, and then if you want all the DLC and you add it all to Steam, then that's $4,000 worth of stuff. Granted, you know, the states that are coming out aren't going to cost $4,000, or at least I fucking hope they don't, because that's a lot of money. So for the first few, so obviously we're getting Arizona free. Great, fine. What about the rest of them? How much are they going to cost? And are they going to cost? Because even at £5 a pop, it's still a lot of money. You know, if they come with £10 a pop, still a lot of money. And that was, and again, that, I mean, that's in my money, which is the Great British Pound. You know, but of course, money doesn't translate that well in other currencies. You know, what could be £5 for me, for a state, could turn into about 30 for someone else. So can you imagine, you know, so the thing is, it's like when we got the news of ATS coming, we, again, like I said earlier, we thought great, open roads and blah blah blah, but now we're gonna have to, if we want to drive from the west coast to the east coast, we are now going to have to buy states. And I don't like that. I simply do not like that. It's a weird business model that they're doing with this. Like, if they took another year and a half to develop the game, develop all the states, so it released with all the states, so you can drive from the west coast to the east coast, I would have been fine with that. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you would have been fine with that too. Because it means, you know, you drop your money on the game, £30 let's say, and United States is open. You can drive anywhere you want. And that would have been fantastic. But for now, it's a case of, well, you know, it's like, well, I want to drive through Boston. Well, good luck, because if you haven't got the neighbouring state, you know, if Boston is your hometown, if that's your home city, you know, and the residing areas around it, if you want to drive there, good luck. I hope you've got the money to buy the neighbouring state, because, you know, that's what you're gonna have to do. You want to drive through your hometown of Boston, but you don't have the neighbouring state. Which means then you're going to have to pay for states that maybe you're not interested in. You know, you're going to have to pay for your DLC that you don't want. Why have I got my lights on? Oh yeah, because it was a night, wasn't it? But you know, you're going to have to pay for states that you're probably not interested in. And as I said, money-wise, you know, there are higher taxes and higher VATs in other countries. I saw, I think it was on SCS website actually, when they were talking about, this, you know, some guy said, well, ETS2 for me is like 49 something, I don't know what their currency was, but they said it was like 40, I think it was about 40. So I'm guessing that's pretty cheap for them. And then they said, oh, well, okay, whatever. I did not notice the speed change. I do apologise. You know, they said it was 40 for them, and then this is now going to cost them 79. And they said, well, I'm not buying it because I'm going to hazard a guess that that amount of money for them is quite expensive. Again, I don't know because I wasn't sure or clear on what currency it was that they had, but even still, you know, I mean, SCS can only suggest a price or a recommended retail price, so to speak. You know, because they can't say, well, we want to sell it for this. This is how much we want to sell it for, because apparently that would have been price fixing or something along those lines. I'm not 100% sure. So yeah. So if you're in another country, so yeah, I mean, you know, if you're in another country that has high taxes and VATs and stuff, and games cost you a lot, good luck. Good luck wanting to drive from one fucking continent to the other, one side of the continent to the other, the country to the other, whatever. Because it's going to cost you a lot of money. And again, that doesn't sit well with me. I'm not a fan of that. Come on. Oh, listen to that as well. How pissing weak is that horn? Oh, and you think, when you think, well, we'll just put some air horns on it. Why haven't you put some air horns on it? Can't get any. Seriously, no air horns. There is no customer. This is another thing that bugs me. And yes, this is going to be just me rambling and whatnot, going back and forth between points and whatever. But customizations on the trucks is abysmal. Let me tell you, it is abysmal. Like, this is my truck at the moment. No air horns, no lights, no bull bars. Well, there is bull bars. 2. Side skirts, oh, well, you can have them plastic or something else. There's like 4 of those. There's 4 chassis. There's 4 engines. There's like 10 transmissions. Yeah, there's like 10 transmissions, 4 engines. Paint jobs, which some are exclusive to the Peterbilt and some exclusive to the Kenworth. Fantastic. And in interior, well, this is bland with wood. The other one is just bland without wood. Yay. One Kenworth, you can have it nice and bland like this, or it can be cream. Woo. Fantastic. What the hell is going off here? Drive, for the love of fuck. Just drive. Okay, we're getting out of this. Yeah, the customization on the trucks themselves, they're abysmal. They really are. There's no customization whatsoever. Not on these trucks. I mean, it might come in a future update, you know, when more trucks are available. I don't know. But I think that's kind of the difference between European trucks and American trucks. You know, when you see these American trucks, they're like this. They look like this. They're plain. La la, you saw nothing. You know, they're very plain. Whereas the trucks in your truck, you know, you've got a copious amount of light bars, a copious amount of bulb bars, copious amounts of other modifications that you can make to your truck. So you can make it your own. Because I own this truck. But this doesn't feel like my truck. As weird as that is to say, it doesn't feel like my truck. My truck just feels like everyone else's. And that was a great thing with Euro Truck. And yes, this is going to get compared to Euro Truck a lot. Of course, same company, etc., whatever. And that was a great thing with Euro Truck. You know, you could put on some crazy stuff, and make it, you know, look like fucking Blackpool Illuminations if you wanted it to. And make it look queer? Crazy and weird. Oh yeah, I was trying to say crazy and weird and it came out queer. You know, you can make it look crazy and weird and put on whatever you want. Fantastic. But not this. So, I'm hoping at some point that the modders start to get on this pretty quick. Because I want to see more stuff. Not just out of like modding the trucks, but overall. You know, I'd love to see it, you know, because SCS, I don't know how long SCS are going to take to create these other maps. Let's get up to 70. Yeah, I don't know how long SCS are going to take to create these other states. Is it going to be a monthly thing? Is it going to be bi-monthly? Who knows? But hopefully it's not going to take too long. And this is where I hope the modders come in pretty quickly. You know, I want them, loan installments or whatever. I want them to come in and create something for us. You know, give us their interpretation of, maybe not Arizona because that is coming at some point, but a neighboring state to California up at the top, or you know, to Nevada or wherever really. Give us their map interpretation, see how quick they can do it before SCS can. You know, because they have the assets within the game now. A lot of it is going to be cut and paste, but then again, a lot of stuff in here is cut and paste. You know, you drive past Chris's Meats and Fast Shop, and you turn left, and then, you know, a couple of meters down the road, it's Chris's Meats and Fast Shop. You know, there's a lot of cut and paste within the game. So, you know, I would truly love to see what the modders can do. And if they can port anything over from ETS2 into here, because I can't imagine the underlying code being much different. You know, surely it's got to be a straight up, I mean, I don't know, I'm not a coder or a developer or whatever, but surely it's got to be a straight up one-to-one copy transfer. Maybe, I don't know. What is interesting is, like, I know the engine of this is different, a little bit different. I know it's not the same. I know it now works for 64-bit systems, you know, and there are a lot of people now complaining because there's no 32-bit system for it, even though I think you can, within Steam, set it to 32-bit. Well, there's a 32-bit sort of beta thing, I think. I don't know, I can't remember. But, you know, the point is, what I kind of thought was, well, how hard? I mean, someone isn't going to do this publicly, I know, because that would be, I don't know what it would be, but I can imagine someone, down to 30, but I can imagine someone privately, maybe, I need to write here, I can imagine someone privately porting this map from ATS into ETS2. Can't imagine it being that hard. So then they can, you know, make a nice long road from the UK. You know, I'd like to say a nice long road from Ireland, but for some stupid reason we haven't got Ireland yet. Why SCS exactly? That's one thing I've never understood. Like, we have all of Europe, we have England, we have Scotland, we have Wales. So where the fuck is Ireland? I want to drive around the green countryside of Ireland. And I'm sure a lot of Irish people want to drive around Ireland as well. It would be nice. Ireland's a beautiful place. Never been myself. You know, I've seen screens and stuff. But yeah, when are we getting Ireland? Come on, SCS, get on that. But in terms of the game, like, it's nice. It runs well. I've got no complaints there. My only complaint is, again, just a lack of content and the business the business model that they're doing. I don't want to see this turn into DLC simulator. I really, truly don't. And yeah, I realise more things are coming in the future, and you know, it is early. I will say that. You know, I will hold up my hand. You know, I realise that this has really just come out, and you know, there's going to be more. I realise that. I'm not a fool. I'm not dumb. But I just expected more. Have we been spoilt? Is a good point. Have we been spoilt with ETS2 that we expected more from this? But for the same point, can you blame us? Can you blame us for wanting more? Can you blame us for thinking and imagining that, great, we're going to get to drive all across America and you're going to be able to do that? Pardon me. Which is great. As long as you shell out about £300 to £400 first. Or, for other countries, the equivalent of about £600. So, but I want the modders to get on this pretty sharply, and I want them to bring things in, because, like, the thing with ETS is ETS2. Sorry, the map is big enough. Get off the parking brake then. You know, the map is big enough that you can drive around France, you can drive around Germany, you know, you can now go to Scandinavia, or if you fancy, you can go up to or you can go up to Russia, you know, because of Rust map and stuff. I mean, yeah, okay, that's because of the modders themselves. That's not, oh, fuck. You know, that's because of modders and not SCS themselves. But even still, you know, it's still nice that you can. But my point for that is that you're not really... Look, there's a Chris is me. I'm pretty sure we're going to see one down the road here in a second. Although now it's going to prove me wrong, I know that. But yeah, you can drive. You could drive around France. You could drive around Germany, and you might not see the same thing over and over and over. But unfortunately, with this, because of how small the states are and the map is at the moment, you're going to see things over and over. You're going to drive down... Oh look, Chris's Market. I said Chris's Meat. Oh look, yeah, Chris's Meat Market. Look at that. You know, you're going to see the same things over and over. And once you've seen that thing that's sort of wowed you once, it might wow you again the second time. By a third time, it's just... Well, okay, that's that. Whatever. Where's this bloody thing? Oh, it's fucking behind me. There it is. You know, so once you've seen everything, then it becomes... What was I saying? I'm trying to get to this point. Pardon me. But yeah, but you drive around and you don't see the same things. It is my point. Because the map of ETS2 is big enough that you're not going to see the same thing over and over and over. But unfortunately, because of this, you are. And the map isn't that big. Let me be honest with you. It is not that big. I will actually... Hold on. Let me give you a quick taste. This is your map, if you haven't already seen. You know, California and Nevada. And I think this is Arizona. I'm not good with US geography, so I do apologize. But, again, like, 41.38. Already. Driven. Already. When that gets to 100%, I've seen everything. I've driven all the roads. So I'm going to be stuck within California and Nevada driving the same roads over and over and over. Seeing the same sights over and over and over. You know, going into Las Vegas and seeing the Strip, which, to be honest with you, I actually expected that to be a lot bigger. I'm guessing that's a Strip. It's a pretty small Strip. But, yeah. Pardon me. But, you know, like, once you've driven all the roads, that's it. And you could say, well, that's not really the enjoyment. The enjoyment is the trucking. Yes, it is the trucking. And I'd agree with that. But at the same time, I also like to explore. I also like to go to places I've never been before. In ETS2, I like to take jobs that take me off the beaten path. I like to take jobs to places that I've never been before because I want to drive those roads, because I've never driven those roads before. I've never been to this town. I've never been to that town. Granted, a lot of them, again, are copy and paste. I get that. But you still have the challenge of driving different roads. You know, different elevation changes, different corners, different turns, different this, different that, different the other. And it's not just the challenge of that, it's also the challenge of the AI. I mean, come on, we all know what the AI is like in ETS2. It's improved. I'll give them that. It is improved. It's not perfect yet. It is improved. But, you know, getting around the AI is a challenge within itself. But, again, you know, 48.38% completed. Explored. So what I'm afraid of this turning into, again, as well, is like it not becoming something that you can sit here and play forever. And, you know, I wouldn't say forever. What I mean is kind of a replacement to ETS2. Like, you can go, okay, I've done all I can do in ETS2. I'm at a level now where I can buy what I want, I can drive what I want, I can do this, I can do that. You know, so you think, great, this is now a replacement for ETS2 because it's something new, because it's something fresh, something fresh, you know. But the problem, again, is that once you've driven all those roads, it's not new and it's not fresh, and you will end up seeing the same thing again, and I know I'm going around in circles again. But that's kind of my point, you know, and then you're going to revert back to ETS2. Where the hell does he want this? This is another kind of point I want to make. Here. This screen. Like, this is kind of another problem that I have with it. What says American Truck Simulator about this? The only thing that would tell you that it is American Truck Simulator is the title screen and the map. And that's pretty much about it. And, like, okay, maybe this and whatever, but But if I'd have loaded this up and said to you, welcome to ETS2, would you know that it's not ETS2? It doesn't, the problem is, it doesn't have its own stamp. The UI is copy and paste, it's cut and paste from Euro Truck, which, okay, in one way is good because that's, you know, the options and the menus and everything is familiar, so you know where you're going, you're not going to get lost. But at the same time, it doesn't have its own stamp on the game, it doesn't have its own look, it doesn't have its own feel, it doesn't have its own, you know, to tell me that this is American Truck Simulator, that it is not ETS2, that it hasn't just been cut and paste from ETS2, but it has. I don't like that. I think they missed a good opportunity with creating a brand new UI, you know, that they could have baited and they could have tested and they could have shown people and said, this is going to be this, we're thinking of this for our new UI, what do you think? I mean, to be honest with you, they might have actually done this and I'm just talking out of my arse, and, you know, you're going to let me know, oh, but Azumi, they did. I don't know, I don't actually know. I don't follow SAS that closely. But maybe they could have gone, well, here's a new UI, what do you guys think? What would you like to change? Here's going deeper into the options, here's this, here's that. You want to know how to do this? Then go into here, and, but, you know, to put its own stamp and to put its own look and feel. If I'm sure you know what I mean. I'm trying to get to a point, but that point is getting lost on me at the moment. I do apologise. But again, you know, I just want more from this, and I expected more from this, and I'm not thoroughly disappointed. Let's put it that way. I'm not thoroughly disappointed. I'm happy it's here, you know, but again, but it does leave me with disappointment, you know, of stuff. So just to reiterate the points and everything, like, the business model of what they're doing, I don't like, doesn't sit well with me. I can't call it a fully fleshed out game because it is not. I can't put it into the brackets of a game because it is not. For me, anyway, at least. It might be different for you. But this would sit well in the brackets of a mod. This would sit well in the brackets of an expansion pack. This would sit in the brackets well of an early access game. And to be quite fair with you, the early access game one is looking a lot more likely and sounding a lot more, because a lot of games do the same. They release their game early with little content, and then they add onto it later and later and later. But even if it's not, even if you can't put it into that early access model, into that early access bracket, then it would be something else. But it sure as hell isn't a fully fleshed out game because there is not enough content within the game. You know, I expected a lot more from this. I'm sure a lot of people, if anyone even ever remotely even watches this, I'm sure you guys expected a lot more. Especially coming from ETS2. And there isn't anything there. There isn't anything there to keep me here in this game. In this game for long. I will probably play this for a few days and then I'll head back to ETS2. For reasons because the game's much more fleshed out. There's more options for customizing my truck. My truck feels like my truck. Because I customize that truck the way I want it. There's a few mods. There is a few mods on that truck. Like, what am I driving at the moment? I think I'm driving the FH16, the Volvo. And I've got, the Xenon lights, or Xeon lights, I can't remember, I don't know how you actually pronounce that. But Xenon lights, whatever, and then the dark blue interior. So it's nice and black with the blue illuminated buttons and the steering wheel and dashboard. Looks fantastic, and I like it. And that feels like my truck, because that's customized to how I want it. This is going to feel like your truck. This is going to look like your truck. You might have a couple of different things, but underlying it's still going to practically look the same. See, I'm excited to see what the modders can do with this. I'm excited to see how far they can extend this map, and what they can do with that map, and what they can do with this, and how far they can extend, and their own interpretations of these states, if they can do it. Get on it. Seriously, get on it. We need this. This needs more. Because for what it has at the moment, it's not going to be keeping people around for long. American Truck Simulator I fear it's going to be one of those that is just played for a few hours, played for a couple of days, and then put down again, and people are going to go back to ETS2. I think I made that point about 5 minutes ago, but fuck it, I'm saying it again. Because that's exactly what's going to happen with me. I'm going to play this for a few days, and I'm going to go back to ETS2. And I'm going to go in and enjoy ETS2. I'm going to go enjoy Rust Map. I'm going to enjoy driving up through Scandinavia. And through everywhere else. Because I can. And I can spend the next day doing one job. And just in driving the long winding roads. Through some beautiful country. And beautiful scenery. And discover roads and find places, little nooks and crannies that I've never seen before. Because I've never driven those roads before. Unlike this, where I'll have done 100% and seen everything. So, SCS at some point will need to pull their fingers out their arse and get developing these states pretty quickly. Either monthly or bi-monthly. The modders can save this. The modders can, because they do a fantastic job. They do a fine job, and I take my hat off to any of you guys that can mod and create maps and create trucks and this and the other, because you do a absolute fantastic job. Is that Corrales? Because I believe that's Corrales. I'm not sure. I think I've seen Corrales once. So I'm thinking that's Corrales, because I know he's a big fan of ETS2. And I know Paul's in here as well. Or Squirrel. Yeah. But yeah, points I'm going over. Business model, pricing, customization, added things, UI, longevity of the game, 2 to 3 years. Is anyone really going to be playing in 2 years' time? When you're going to buy a state, drive the state, and then go back to ETS2 because you've driven it. So, yeah. So again, I wish there was more. I'm happy and disappointed at the same time. But anyway, those were just wasn't really a review, it's just my ramblings. You know, I'm just rambling. Because that's what people do. That's what people do, and that's what I'm doing. I'm rambling. Crap, this thing's got some pull. But yeah, I can't really think of anything else, so I will probably just go and discover these things and then leave it here. Leave it here. Hello, Mr. Please, man. Look at his face. You seen his face like, you fucking dick. Oh, thank you so very much for watching my ramblings and my thoughts, because that's what it is. Not really a review, it's just my ramblings and thoughts and my opinions about this. But whatever. So, thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.